Hey guys, it's Curt from AjamSonic. This time around we want to show you a little bit more about controlling our KETRON SD40 from our Wersi Sonic. Notice we got a couple of sounds registered here on the upper keyboard. We kind of talked about KETRON C12 and C13 earlier. That basically just means it's sending on channel 12 and channel 13, but it's not doing anything else. What we want to talk about this time around, I just called it K-Demo in this example, but I'm going to double click on that guy. And let's click Edit Sound. So now what you see is MIDI channel 15, and the last time I saved this particular sound, I had a bank change in there, and I'll show you more about that in a second, and a program change. So what you're looking at now is something called the SD40 technical data sheet. What's important is you notice there's bank A, B, C, D, and E. Over on the far left you see program change, 1, 2, 3, etc. And then again across the top you see a value of 0, 1, 10, 11, and 72. So the PC maps to the PC/program change on the Wersi side, and the value numbers map to the MSB side on the Wersi. So if you put in those numbers, and we'll show you an example here in a second, and this isn't the whole list, this is just enough so you get an idea what's going on. This is how you can build user voices using this information on the Wersi side, save that, and now control your KETRON by passing along the appropriate commands to change to the correct bank and the correct program change for whatever voice it is you would like to hear. We're going to switch downstairs in a few minutes and show you some live examples of this actually working. I also showed you a document from KETRON that talks about the bank. So in the Wersi Lingo Jingo, that's this column here, MSB, and you can see that you can change that, right? And then the program change, patch change, you might know it as, you can also change. And, you know, again, these numbers are going to come from the KETRON technical data sheet. And we've got a link to that off of our website, or off of our AjamSonic website, I should say, and invite you to take a look at that if you're interested to see that. So on the Wersi side, you can change these however you want. If you're just testing, if you were to hit send here, there's a little bit of German still on here, it would send those particular commands, and you can kind of test it while you're messing around. Once you're happy with the results, if you uncheck Edit, you get a prompt about would you like to make this a permanent change, and you can say yes, and it will ask you where you want to save it, and I'm just going to save it here for now. And let's back out of this screen, and again that particular sound is registered. So again, let me run downstairs. You won't be able to see some of the screens quite as well just because the camera's a little far away. But it'll give you a good idea of that I'm able to change bank numbers and program changes, which equals what they call on the KETRON a voice. And I won't touch the SD40 in that process. I'll do everything from the organ, showing that you can control the device from your Wersi Sonic. Now let me see if I can show you some live examples of this actually working. So this is what I showed you earlier. I just have it up here for reference so I can see program changes and excuse me, bank values. Bank A is MSB 0. I should say this is our voice editing screen on the Wersi side. Guys saw this in a video or two earlier where we set just the MIDI channel. This time we're working with the MSB, which is going to change the bank, and there's bank A, B, C, and D on the SD40. And then the program change number that gets sent. One thing to remember is on the Wersi side, because they count from 0, on the KETRON side they start counting at 1. So these are off by 1 value. But anyway, I've got number 12 selected right now. which will be a marimba. Okay, so let's go up just for the heck of it to an organ sound, which is again church organ. Shows up here as 20, so that should be number 19 here if my math is good. Let's hit send. All right, let's go over to bank B. So they want an MSB of 1. And we'll swing down and go to program number 1 or 2 here, which should be some kind of a piano sound, looks like. Let's hit send. And it is. How about that? Let's go over to bank C. So that is value 10 for your MSB. There's 10. And I see one here called Toy Box, which says it's 13, so that's really going to be 12. Let's see what we get. I hit send. And sure enough, some kind of a toy box sound. We'll do one more, just pick one more over here from bank D, which is MSB 11. And I see a blues harp on 23, so that's going to be really 22. Let's try that. Hit send. Sure enough. So you can edit these, and I'm going to uncheck edit sound. It's going to say, do you want to save it? I'm going to say yes. And I'm just going to resave it on KDemo. That's the one I've been messing around with. But now that is saved as part of that sound. Okay, so if I go back here, you notice on my upper one, it says KDemo. And that's the one we saved with that particular bank and program change. Just to show you something a little different, I have one saved that picked a slap bass sound. Let me see if I can find it here. K15 slap bass. Let's back out. Notice it's changed. Oops, well, it's not a slap bass anymore. It's obviously a guitar. That's my fault for not changing the name. Now, if we want to hit user again and go back to the demo sound that we just created a second ago, and there's that blues harp sound. So you can see that now I am using the Wersi to pick user sounds. Remember, you can change the name to anything that makes sense to you to control voices on the SD40. And if you notice, the SD40 is sitting off, I don't know where I'm at in the camera here, but it's way over here on the organ bench. Can't see it. I didn't touch it, but yet I'm able to make some changes. Hopefully this helps you understand some of the possibilities and how you can leverage both a KETRON, whether it's an SD40 or one of their keyboards, an SD7, SD9, or the top of the line Audea flagship models, along with your Wersi instrument, or for that matter, any keyboard that has MIDI functionality can do the same thing. How you implement it might vary from instrument to instrument, but the concept should be consistent across all of them. As always, thanks for watching.